So yeah, I'm gonna go over this exercise. Real simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way most trainers teach heel is if the dog pulls,
Yeah.
they'll remote them and like tell them no.
Yeah.
And when the dog comes back, they'll say heel.
Yeah.
And the dog pulls and they go no,
Yeah.
heel, right? And they'll keep repeating this process. It's the worst way to train.
Okay.
It's too complicated for dogs. They can't piece those things together.
The
So-
dog coming watch out behind you.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So what I do is I give the dog enough slack to make the mistake
Yeah.
of going ahead, but then we're gonna use. So if when I have 2 tacos on my calendar now. So, taco, when he gets ahead of me,
Yeah.
we're gonna be making a 180 turn to your immediate right,
Yeah.
like that. Have you done this before?
Yeah. Like that's how I train with the prong collar.
With the prong, okay,
not
cool.
With this.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that same kind of method,
Yeah.
okay? So whenever Taco gets ahead of you, you're just gonna 180 like this.
Yeah.
Head, 180 like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep repeating that, okay? Now when you make the 180,
Yeah.
it's very important that you keep your movement,
Yeah.
okay? A lot of people will stop, then turn, and
Yeah.
then go,
No, just straight over.
just straight over.
Am I tapping on this?
Yes. So when I say tap,
Yeah.
you're gonna be actively pressing that button.
Okay.
So if I say tap, 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 that would be your rhythm.
Yeah.
If I say tap, 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 that would be your rhythm, okay?
Okay.
So it would look like he passes, turn, tap, tap,
Yeah.
tap, good. Tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, 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 good, right? So you're gonna look crazy for a bit,
Yeah, it's fine.
but you're is super important always to the immediate right. You might hear me say inwards turn because the way he's lined up, that if you turn inwards, right? Because if he's over here,
I am
right?
on my left, right?
Yeah, we're teaching on the left.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of, well, we always do this, but there will be a time when I'll say inwards, which means if you were to be on your
Turn.
left, you're turning inside, and it's an immediate pivot,
Yep.
and it's more so just to realign.
Okay.
It's super rare.
Sure.
He might pull to your right side,
Yeah.
which if he does, you'll hear me say pull to your left and tap,
Okay.
but then you want to keep your momentum.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of people tend to stop and pull,
Okay.
and then it gives the dog more leverage in order to, in terms of resistance. Okay, what is our number currently set at?
I have him at 22.
You're at 22. Have you used it already?
At 22?
Correct.
Earlier today, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna look at Taco here, and go ahead and just give a tap. So that movement there,
Yeah.
that's about that's what I would call perception level. We
Yeah.
want a little bit more
A
ump.
little higher. Okay.
Let's go to 25.
Okay.
And if you land like 24, 26, 27, like that's fine, just like
Okay.
general range.
Sure.
And we're gonna look at Taco and tap. There we go. Okay.
Sorry,
No,
I know.
no consulting.
I know, it's so hard. He gets confused and he whines and then I feel bad.
Oh yeah, don't feel bad.
Okay.
I know it's hard
Yeah.
because you're conditioned to feel bad.
Yeah.
But as best as you can,
Yep.
don't feel bad.
I won't.
Okay.
Okay.
So, is he clipped on a harness?
He's clipped on a harness, yeah. Just while he's got one more week of this because he had a herniated disc.
Gotcha.
That's the last
Gotcha.
time. Then I get him back on a collar.
Okay, no, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. I was just, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna have you give a little bit of slack.
Okay.
So when you give the slack, go ahead and hold your leash.
Yeah.
That's right there, and then relax.
Sorry.
You got it. There you go. Leave it more like 3 inches. There you go. Okay, we're gonna try that out. Okay. So I'm gonna coach you through this.
Yeah.
If he does well because of the previous training,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to force mistakes. So
Okay.
then I'll cover that if that
Sure.
happens. Okay. So
Okay.
go ahead and just move forward. Tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap. Good, and relax. Good. Go ahead and slow turn. Tap, tap, forward, tap, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, tap. Good. You got it. Give some slack.
Yeah.
Okay. Forward.
Okay.
Good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Keep forward, tap, tap. Good. Attaboy. Good. Slow turn. Good. And then pick up your pace. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Whew. Good. Slow turn. Tap forward. Tap, 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 tap.
Ryan, do you want me to keep the same slack or do you want me to drop the slack? I forgot that part.
How you have it is fine.
Okay.
Yes. There we go. Tap forward. Good. Yeah, keep straight. There you go. Then slow turn. Good. Now pick up your pace. Tap, 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 tap. Stop that. That's all right.
You have to, then I'm being retrained, you know?
Oh, because that's what you did with the prong?
Yeah, so with the prong,
Gotcha.
I would drop slack and then take off like really fast.
Sure.
So his cue became dropping the slack and then that would be his warning. And then with the pull of the prong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Tap forward. There you go. Good. Now slow to slow turn. Good. Pick up your pace. Tap, tap. Let's go to 100. I'm just joking.
No.
Let's go to 28. I like the trust though.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, if I have to.
Whatever I did before didn't work, so I'm trusting you.
Good. Now slow turn. Good turn. Pick up your pace. Tap, 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 tap. Keep forward. Tap. There he is. Attaboy. Good. Now slow to slow turn. Turn. Tap, 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 tap. 31. How old is he?
4.
Okay. Slow to slow turn. Good. Tap, tap, tap. A little bit better. Keep forward. There it is. Good. Slow to slow turn. Good turn. Tap forward. Keep forward. You got it.
No.
Good job. Good. Slow to slow turn. Good pivot. Yep. Now slow walk here, but keep forward. And slower. And stop. All right. So keep where you're at. So take a step forward. Lightly pull forward. And tap. 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 Take another step forward. Tap. Tap. Go to start moving. Tap. Tap. There you go. Good. Tap. Good. Turn. Tap. Tap. Slow walk again. Keep forward. And then slower. And stop. Good. Welcome to Oz. So, can you, it's like when people are trying to talk and they like keep saying stuff in the movies. Can you see what we're doing here?
Yeah.
It's obviously very similar to the turnaround with the prong, right?
Yes.
Now here, the reason why we don't give the slack or anything is it'll get tangled underneath the dog's legs, and I'm trying to keep things as smooth as possible.
I got you. Yeah.
So,
I shouldn't talk to him though during this exercise, right? Because he's very like verbal. Like if I tell him to come, he'll come right next to me. Can I do that, or is this supposed to just be inherent in him? I'm not supposed to talk to him.
Currently, we're not saying anything because I'm trying to layer in remote.
Gotcha.
So like, I prefer dogs who've had zero training.
Yes.
I don't care how crazy they are, right? So
yes.
it's fine. He's not the first dog that I've worked with that already had a trainer. but I have to work harder.
You got it, yeah.
Right?
And you have to figure out the little nuances.
Sure.
I get it.
So I'm conditioning him because I can't remember. I remember you told me something about the other trainer with the ECollar and like how it was taught.
Yeah, she was more like, we just always hit perception level. So it was like, I'd get his attention with this thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But then, and he would stop, but like, it just kept going.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have connection level, perception level, working level. I think I talked about it in the video, right? And that working level is where you always want to be at.
Yes.
And that's contingent on the environment.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we're at 31.
32. And the only reason I was as high as 22 is because we were in a park earlier. When we're at home, it's nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, and then, so for me, ideally, I want to correct the behavior and not see it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, dogs don't learn like humans do.
Yeah.
So a human, like a kid, you can tell them like, you do not take things that are not yours.
Yeah.
And that child can just like do that.
Yeah.
And not take things that aren't theirs.
Yeah.
Dogs don't.
Yeah.
For dogs, it's they do something, and is the consequence to the degree that it stops behavior, but then also prevents it from happening again. Okay, so technically they have to be allowed to do the thing in order to learn to not do the thing.
Yep.
So here, I'm trying to get a feel for what his working number is. We're at 31, and then what happened earlier when you stopped and he was behind you is this is what I was trying to achieve with just your movements.
Yes.
Okay. But he just was a little too far back.
Yeah.
So like, okay, let me see if we, and then here, if he lays down even up, and
Up. Up.
no
Good
words.
boy.
Yeah, we're gonna do all remote here, okay?
I know, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
So, I wanted him to close that gap, but he's not had enough to understand that when so my dogs, for instance, if my dog was back here and I tapped, she'd go
right next to you.
Okay, so that tells
That's
me
what we have to teach.
She's got the concept,
Yes.
right? And when you're doing your turns, just like the prong, if he keeps going the wrong way, the prong's gonna catch him, and he turns around and goes, "Oh, mom's going that way." If he catches up, nothing happens. Same thing with the remote collar. Okay, now we went from 22 to 25, 28, 31, or something like that. So I'm going in increments of like 3. Okay, so not big jumps. And what I was looking for, and I saw it a couple of times, is when he was lagging and you tapped him, is that he actually sped up to come to your leg. Okay, that's urgency. Urgency means it's important. If it's important, it means something. If it's not important, it means he's not going to do it. Okay, and that's how I start to make the remote not as needed, because the dog's just already like prepared. Like, all right, if I want to avoid 31, then I do this and this and this, and I avoid this, and then we're good. Okay, people and most trainers tend to operate with like that perception level. Or these stupidly, in my opinion, stupidly low levels of like 4 and 5. And the owner is stuck on like, oh, but the trainer got it on 4 and 5. I'm like, yeah, but you're constantly arguing with the dog. I don't want to argue with the dog, right?
You just want it to be fixed.
Just want it to happen. And if I have to remote the dog, it's, how do you say, it's not all the time. Because when I get dogs that were trained by the trainers, a lot of times the owner says, I'm like at 5, but then I always go to 65 to correct the behavior. And I'm like, well, what does that tell you? I'm like, you're probably around, you should be around 65, because that's what you always end up jumping to. But they're stuck in the psychology of, but my trainer said as low as possible. So I say as low as possible, but as high as needed. Okay? And that becomes like the permanent working range, so that you're more so in his head prior to the problem, so that we don't get those issues. Okay? Questions so far?
Nope.
So we're gonna do a bit more of this just back and forth stuff. So I apologize if this seems redundant. I know it's the same stuff, but we have to layer in everything.
No, I mean, this is good for me because I need to break my old habits,
Sure. So earlier when he laid down, and you said up, right? Now was that something that you taught him or that was taught to him?
Up, up was taught to him early on.
Okay. To go from a sitting position to a downing from a...
To make a super long story short, his last trainer that was ECollar trainer, she had come up or had learned this other thing called training between the ears, TBT. I don't know anything about it really.
I've heard about that.
And essentially in her world, if I could get him to relax in like a big crowded situation like this, which was laying down or on his side or sleeping, that meant that he was relaxed in his environment.
Oh, sure.
So his nature is, if we're standing, he's actually trained to it, despite what it might look like, that whenever I stop, he's supposed to sit next to me.
That's correct.
And then when when I'm standing for X amount of time for a prolonged period, he's supposed to relax in the environment and lay down.
Okay.
So that was not done with the ECollar. That was just taught to him with the words, essentially. So he learned to go down and up.
I gotcha. So the way I look at it is this, and this is why different trainers, different philosophies, right? Is
sorry, I just
in my book, heel is very strict. It's the right shoulder, left leg. The dog's not pulling, the dog's lagging, you know, essentially right here in a little pocket area. When you stop, he's sitting, right? That's correct.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't allow the downing is because, and I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here for a while. I might as well make myself comfortable and lay down.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a choice that he made. Okay. I'm watching him. It's a choice that he made that's outside of what you told him.
Okay.
Okay. So if it becomes, hey, heel is supposed to be super strict, but I can lay down when I want.
Yeah.
Or I can.
I'm giving him too many options.
Yes, and there are no options.
Yep.
It's when you're stationary, his butt is there.
Yep.
Okay. So, and I do this with all my dogs, especially if there's behavioral things.
Yep.
Because then it. So then if you're not black and white with the obedience, then when it's like, well, I don't like this person, so I can lunge at them.
I totally get it. He's a give an inch, take a mile kind of dog. So
yeah,
I
and
can,
that's
I can
most
get behind
dogs.
It. Yep,
yeah,
I can totally get behind it.
So instead of doing the up, you'd remain silent,
Yes.
and actually we're just, again, everything's going to the remote now, right? So you're teaching like, hey bud, if you get out of line, guaranteed remote.
Yeah.
There is no avoiding it other than to do what you're supposed to do,
Yes.
or not to do certain things that I taught you not to do. Okay, that's what we're trying to get him to kind of start thinking. Okay, and then I like this here, like you've been stationary, he's just been looking at you.
Me. Yeah, exactly.
And that's, you know, possibly higher number and all that stuff. This is not going to be forever.
Okay.
Okay, so when your trainer talked about him being more relaxed in like this kind of environment, right? I understand what she was saying about like the dog laying down. That's true.
Yeah.
If he was on his own time.
Yes.
But he, be careful with the shoelace.
Oh, thank you.
If he was on his own time, but currently he's not, he's on your time, he's in a heel position.
Yeah.
And so like, let's say you said, my release word is break. What did you use before?
Break.
You used break?
Yeah.
So if you said break, and then he decided like, all right, cool, I'm gonna lay down then I wouldn't have cared. Because we gave him the freedom of like, you're done. And he decides, I'm gonna do this.
Is this okay? Like him just laying his head on me and that sort of stuff, that's all fine?
That's all fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know why he's doing that?
I don't know. No, I have no idea.
Well, what direction did you turning?
Oh, that's true.
Right. So when you have that working number, if you were to watch like other videos of dogs, you'll notice that they'll start either looking and staring at the owner or doing stuff like this. Okay, and it's because one, the owner keeps turning right. So for the dog, it's like, well, if I'm already facing in the right direction, you cannot catch me off guard. But also because of the number. Now he's really like, whoa. Because you're used, you're doing lower before, correct?
Totally. Yeah. I was just catching. I was getting his attention.
Correct. And again, I'm trying to just get in his head permanently, where it's like, he's like, I'm really gonna just pay attention to mom and like keep my head right here, so if she moves, I know what she's doing. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm essentially making him more paranoid of like you than he is about the environment. And that's, in my opinion, how dogs get over these things. So like I had a dog this morning that came to my pack walk, and I worked with her pre-COVID, and she was from like Palatine, super quiet suburb. And dog was super anxious and neurotic with like cars and stuff. And I told her, start walking your dog in those areas like this all the time. And now she moved to Lincoln Park, so now she's here.
She's ready.
Now, and I saw the dog calm.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, this was like 6-7 months of her, like just exposure. But she had exposed the dog when she was in a passive state, so it allowed her to just learn to start calming down in that scenario. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing here. And then we build up to like the touch stuff and the sensitivity and everything like that. So I'm gonna have you do more of this kind of back and forth.
Okay.
I'll coach you through it some more. We'll talk for a bit, let them rest, and then I'm gonna have you do a bit where you just do it, on your own. Okay. Questions?
No.
All right, go for it. Good. Go ahead and slow turn. Good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Good. Good. Go ahead and pick up your speed some more. Good. Slow to slow turn. Good turn. Tap forward. Tap. You got a bike on your right.
Okay.
Good. Slow to slow turn. Good. Pick up your speed. Good. Keep forward. And slow to slow turn. Good. Forward, tap. Tap. Keep forward. Good. Now slow walk. Slower. Keep forward, tap, tap. Good. Slow to slow turn. Tap forward, tap forward. Tap forward, tap forward. Good. Turn. Tap. 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 Good. Slow to slow turn. Good job. Forward. Good. Go ahead and slow down. And slower. Yeah, he gets confused here.
Yeah. He really gets confused.
Pick up a little bit and tap, tap. Good. Slow to slow turn. Good turn. Forward. Tap. And then slow walk. There we go. And slow to stop right there. Good. I'm going to accept that for now. Very good. Okay. So I'm trying to get him to line up with you as much as possible.
Yeah.
That is a small little window that I will give.
Sure.
But before he was like a whole 2 to 3 foot, 3 feet back. That I don't want. Now, I'm not pushing the forward thing because of the herniated disc.
Yeah.
But once he's good to go, I'm going to start being a bit more strict on positioning of things. And now it's not really the positioning that I care about. It's the fact that I have more things to remote for.
Sure.
Okay. So people tend to use the remote sparingly, or they tend to use it as low as possible.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, but dogs bite each other.
Yeah.
They don't, give these little gray areas. If they don't like something, they just boom, settle, right? So I essentially kind of take that psychology and I apply it appropriately to the remotes, right? So 22 to 31, and I'm thinking of bumping it, but I saw bounce like things that I liked where he was speeding up, but then at the same time I saw him kind of lagging again and not being as motivated to move quickly as I would like. Okay. Questions about any of this so far?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm actually just surprised this lasted this long with the muzzle on his face. He must be at least stimulated enough.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that, because I saw him try to shake it off earlier.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you been conditioning him and doing that stuff?
Every day.
Beautiful.
It just, he hates things by his face, like all the time, like brushing his teeth is a disaster, so.
Sure. Yeah. So good job on that, because a lot of times when I tell people muzzle condition, they wait till like the week before and they try to cram it, and like you can't do that with
No,
this.
I've been doing, and actually that extra week I was on call last week when because Maria had emailed me and asked for training last week, and I was like, I need another week for me because I'm on call, but 2 for him, for his muzzle. There's no way we could have done this.
Sure. Yeah, no, good.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, this is all looking really good. Okay. So we're we're gonna go to 34. We're gonna bump a little bit more,
Okay.
and we're gonna do another little run here.
I'm pretty sure it's not tight enough too. And it was very good. Okay.
Yep, and forward. Go ahead and turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. Good. Slow turn. Good. Pick up your speed. Tap. 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 Good. Slow to slow turn. Good. Pick up your speed. Tap. 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 Let's try 37. Turn, tap, 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 tap. Is he vocalizing at all for you? Okay. I wonder if we got contact here. Go ahead and get ready for a turn. Good turn. Tap, tap. Yeah, he's feeling it. There we go. Now slow walk. Keep forward. Turn. Tap. Slow walk. And stop. Good. Yeah, so these guys with thicker coats, it's harder to get consistent contact because of that coat. When he looked at the barking dog over there, and I said tap tap, I could see where he responded to it. But everything else, he seemed kind of blasé, at least right now about it. Okay, so when we apply the ECollar during the heel, the movement is what allows him to redirect from the hits. Okay, because it's a task at hand. That task is we're walking, right? So like, even if you're hitting him, you know, let's say at 48, and he's and he turns, immediately his brain redirects and goes like, oh, I need to be walking a mile. And then gradually you start to notice, like, because earlier at 22 or 25, he like whimpered, right? Because he didn't know what to do. You were standing still, and he's like, what the hell? But as soon as you started moving, now you're at a higher number, and we're not getting that same whimpering. Okay? So what I'm wanting to see from Taco here is, it's like he's literally like shooting to your leg. Like he'll be a little bit behind you and you'll tap him and you'll literally see him speed up to catch up to you, okay? And that's how you can start recognizing like, oh wow, that's the urgency that Jesse was talking about, okay? So I'm still not seeing it quite yet. But I'm in terms of stuff for you to practice with when you're working with him on your own and you're doing the healing exercise, I want you to just bear that in mind where it's like, am I seeing him run to me? Or does it still seem kind of like, yeah, he's catching up, but it takes like 3 to 4 taps. And you might find at 55, you do one tap and all of a sudden he's like, coming, right? Super quick. And then it's like, oh wow, like that. It'll be very obvious when you see the right number. And don't be surprised if when you're going to the higher number, if you see bucking back or apprehension. This actually happened earlier with the client. It was a new client. And the dog, as we're going higher, started to hold, right? And she was like, oh, she's like, is the dog resisting because we're going higher? And I said, yes. I was like, because we're getting to a point where the dog goes, I don't like this. But that's what's going to motivate the dog to actually move. So eventually, like the husband was just walking and pulling a little bit and tapping, and he was like at 50 or 55. And then you could see the dog like being tapped and like going no, and then finally like fine. And after that, he started running to the owner because then he learned resistance. Exactly. It's you have to move, and if you move faster, then everything goes away faster. Okay. So same thing that we're trying to create here, just trying to get you to recognize that. So with the turning and the some of them I just say turn, and others I say slow turn. Do you know why?
Slow turn, I don't know, so he can do the whole motion with me.
Sure, right? Because on some of them, like if he's already ahead of you like this, he's not paying attention. There's no reason to do a slow turn. So we just do the turn and we tap him to correct him to teach him you walk here. The slow turn is when we feel like Taco is actively being mindful. So you drive, of course, right? What do you do before you stop?
Brake.
Which does what for the car?
Slows it down.
Correct. And what do you do before your turn?
The turn signal.
And if you're being good. And if, let's say you're going, you need a turn, but you're going faster.
Yeah.
Do you want to just turn?
No, but I have to. I'm a terrible driver. This is a bad analogy for you. Terrible driver.
Bad driver. All right. Well, maybe I'll help you become a better driver.
Exactly.
At least for taco.
Yeah.
Okay. Because as we get into the next class,
Yeah.
that slowing down
Yeah.
and did you ever go over like specific leg movements for the heel?
No.
You didn't.
No.
Okay. So we're gonna
That's not true. Like if I started with my right
Left.
foot, start left, right versus, but I obviously didn't stick because I can't.
be sure. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
most trainers teach that.
Yeah,
Is left
exactly.
is heel.
Yeah,
Right is
exactly.
don't
Yep.
move. Yeah. Yeah. But when we do specific turns, like left turns and
Yeah.
pivots and stuff, there's actually specific leg movements there as
Okay.
well.
All right.
So the reason why we do those is kind of like we're driving. Like you know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Your fellow drivers do not.
Yeah.
So if you just turn,
Yeah. You're gonna.
you're gonna crash, right? So people don't care.
Yeah.
Uh,
Slice my record.
I'm just messing with shit. But when it comes to taco,
Yeah.
we do want to communicate with them because you're gonna end up colliding.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it would be unfair to him because again, he doesn't know what he's
Yeah.
doing. So that's why those leg movements come into play. We're not going to worry about that quite yet.
Yeah.
But that when you walk with Taco now, like let's say you go on an actual walk with him, what does that look like in your neighborhood with Taco?
So usually what happens is that there's a park that's about 3 blocks away. So he's like on my side, and I work crazy hours, so that's like at 4 a.m. or like,
Sure.
8 p.m.
Okay.
And so then by the time we get to the park, he's usually heeling pretty closely next to me. Honestly, even better than this usually, but I don't always have the muzzle on him because we just
Sure.
started doing that.
Sure.
And so it's about 2.5 miles, and then there's a little section where I give him. There's like a little open. I say open field. It's closed off on 3 sides, and there's just one side that I can kind of monitor, and I let him have a break and
Oh, I
walk
see.
around that area, and then
Sure.
he comes right
Gotcha. Okay. So how often do you get to actually formally walk him, whether it's 10 minutes to like the longer?
at least twice a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
I walk him. Yeah.
Okay.
So he gets about, at least from my side, he gets about 60 to 90 minutes of exercise a day. Just because he's a big dog. He's always walking.
Okay.
He used to run, but then the herniated disc thing, so I haven't run him yet.
Sure. Now, how do you feel about that?
What? The exercise? Well, I hate it. He does pretty good. In Vermont, I used to run him off leash, and he was like glue, like stuck to my side unless
Sure.
I said break.
Okay.
And I loved that, but that's not realistic for living in Chicago or like even the suburbs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
People have really poorly behaved dogs that are
Oh,
off leash.
sure.
It's not him.
Yeah.
I actually.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have a few clients in the suburbs, and one of them was like off-leash dogs. They're like
Horrible.
rampant in
Yeah.
their area.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And there's cats. There's a lot of loose cats. And I can't. I can only do so much with this thing. When he sees a cat that looks
Is that his
enticing-
weakness?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
There's
We
a
got-
cat named Waffles in Vermont, and I never won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, that's really why I got the prong collar, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know because that just gives us something like a controlled thing to work with if we
Yeah.
ever come across it.
Yeah.
So the only reason why I ask is I don't care that you walk him or whatever,
Yeah.
60 to 90 minutes.
Uh-huh.
I only care when people do that and they do it hoping their dog's behavior is going to get better. Like I had a client that used to run his dog 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
He used to do 2 hours on a treadmill, 1 hour with him himself, usually. And he's like, my dog is still like ape shit whenever he sees another dog.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I exercise him every day 3 hours. And I was like, yeah, that's not necessary. You should be disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
No. It's good for both of us. It's
Okay,
not fine.
then I have no problem with that. Okay, so when you are doing these walks with him, you are keeping him. So far, you're doing the structured,
Yeah.
the heel and everything like that. Okay. Yep.
Oh, sorry, bud. Sit down, bud. You're okay. You're okay.
Now you can dip it down. Okay.
Yeah.
You're at what now?
30. That was 36.
Let's go down to back to that 22. And then go ahead and back step back aside. There you go. It's okay. Let the guilt go.
No, I feel so bad.
It's all right. I've been doing this 10 years,
Yeah.
so in the beginning I was,
You're used to this behavior.
yes, I'm used to that. I'm used to that.
Yeah.
I'm used. I myself, when I first ECollar trained my dogs,
Yeah.
because I have an 8-pound Chihuahua.
Yeah.
I had 28 pound chow mix, and then my 60-pound pit.
Yeah.
So I had small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Right. And in the beginning, I was, guilty. I didn't like it, but then I saw how well they responded to it and the level of control I had, and then like the freedom that they got in response. I like it. In this scenario, because of the behavioral thing, right? So I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So there's two things here. One is whenever you've rested for a bit, if he's had time to like de-stress, your number may go down.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing. Two, as soon as I heard the too big of a reaction, right away I said, go back down to 22, right?
Yeah.
So you're just adjusting to him.
Yeah.
But interesting how like when you were moving and stuff, it wasn't a big deal, and he was feeling it, and all of a sudden you're stationary for a bit, and it's like, this is too much for me. Okay. So any questions about this so far?
No.
So I'm gonna have you try this on your own.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. You can go to 16. Tap. There, okay. And then we're not going to worry about the word. We're not going to worry about the word heel.
Yeah.
You're just going to start moving. If he doesn't move with you, then you're going to use the tap to get him to line up with you, right? Okay. And let me have you go in and pivot so that you're facing the same way, and go for it. You're good. Turn, tap. There you go. Sorry, you're doing it, not me.
I'll just turn it like on the post or whatever.
Turn when at the post or whenever you see him out of line. Because that one, he was out of line actually. Good. Good. It's interesting because he's actually pushing more than he was earlier.
Yeah.
This is better though.
Okay.
Good. Keep that arm relaxed. There you go. Good. He did fine, yeah. The first couple is when he was kind of off. Good. Good.
Try and change up the tempo and see if you
Yeah, no, I'm watching you. Good. Going to keep going forward. Good. Good.
Crying a lot.
Go ahead and come here. And you're at that 16 still or what?
Yeah, 15.
15. Go ahead and slow to stop. Good. Okay. So he's being more vocal here.
Yeah.
Okay. So here when he's being vocal, you can, there you go. He laid down for a moment.
Okay.
So when he's being vocal, we can do a couple of things, okay? Because vocal doesn't always mean discomfort.
Yeah. I think it's confusion. Like that's what he finds.
Sure.
That's what it seems like to me.
Sure, yeah, that sounds, it could be confusion,
Yeah.
it could be frustration,
Yeah.
it could be surprise.
Yeah.
If the dog was like super distracted and something happens, and like, what was that,
Yeah.
right? So when you work with him, in your neighborhood, when you see the whining, one thing to remember is keep your momentum.
Yep.
People tend to stop,
Yeah.
okay? Because if he's whining and trying to scratch at it or be like resistant,
Yeah.
and you keep moving and you're tapping, he can only do one thing at a time. He's either gonna be resistant or he's gonna move with you.
Yeah.
So I just keep that pressure on, so eventually he goes, fine, like that dog earlier.
Yeah.
And he rushes forward and he goes, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then you just keep walking like nothing happened, okay? If you wanna say good, I don't care. But technically for him, when you remove the pressure, that is actually the reward, okay? Off-leash dog, just so you know.
Okay.
Let me think here. So here, experimenting with that number.
I know.
It's awesome. Now here, well, it's kind of weird,
Yeah.
but like once he's back on his like actual collar and stuff,
Yeah.
always pull straight up.
Okay.
Straight up de-escalates.
Yeah.
Back or up and back escalate.
Yeah. Please don't push forward.
Yeah. So, when you walk with him now, is there any environment where he like gets a little edgy, where he gets like anxious or like nervous?
Honestly, this is prime for him. And so I'm trying to figure out. He's acting not quite like himself right now.
Okay.
But I think it's this
Sure.
more than anything.
Sure.
I think this is causing him a fair amount of distraction. That's why I think we can get his number up so high. He's licking at this too.
Okay.
Also, because when I use peanut butter to muscle it, so I'm sure there's some stuff left over. But this is his prime environment to do poorly and
Gotcha. Do you have anything like this where you live?
Yeah. The trick is for me to be there during the hours that humans are awake. That's the hard part.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do is this exercise. Okay?
Yeah.
Very simple. You're just raising the stakes a bit.
Yeah.
Play with that number. Get comfortable with playing with that number.
Yeah.
Okay. If he whimpers or whatever, then see like, did you give the response that I'm looking for,
Yeah.
which is that urgency. Okay. Because I get with dogs will whine and whimper and like roll on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more so out of resistance than it is out of like, this is too much, I'm not being compliant.
Yeah.
Okay. If possible, if you have time where it's like, oh wow, like I have availability to go to this park
Yeah.
where it would be really busy, go there.
Yeah.
Okay. Start exposing places that you would typically avoid because of his behavior or
Yeah.
whatever it is or was. Expose them.
Go there.
Okay. You have your muzzle now,
Yep.
so that takes that edge off. Giving him a little bit of trust,
Yeah.
because I know every time you see a dog.
I don't trust him at all. That's the problem. I know, and I see myself doing it, and so okay.
Yeah. But that's the muzzle's work.
Yeah.
Because I look at it this way. It's I'm giving the dog trust that he's going to behave himself because you're being now proactive about what we're doing.
Yeah.
But also trusting in the fact that, well, if you do something, I'm going to get you back on the foot.
Yeah.
It's both that go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I get super reactive dogs, and you're always like, how can you be there and not like be ready for it?
Yeah.
I'm like, because you have to give that trust. Otherwise, the dog's like, well, then if you're already giving attention, clearly there's something wrong. Something's going to blow up anyway.
Totally. Yeah.
So, I don't mind that you have the leash short. That's why.
Yeah.
That gives you the immediate control. It's more so that you're like
Pulling
him away.
Yeah.
And I'm more so just like let the situation happen and what's going to happen. If like right now with that off-leash dog,
Yeah.
I went over here proactively.
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, that's now over here. I'm gonna stop it, right? So I'm not against those things, but if it was like if I had Taco and I had a dog approaching, I would just short it, and I'm like watching him, and at my peripheral range, I'm watching this dog.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I see him like start to do this, then I would tap to come. And I don't wait to see like, are you gonna go for it?
Yeah,
Because a lot of people wait for the like
snarl, bark, whatever.
exactly, and I'm getting that initial start to the behavior. Exactly. So then what happens is for the brain, it's stimulus response, right? So then it would be stimulus response ECollar.
Yeah.
So if you can catch that response just as it's happening.
Yeah.
So humans can self-regulate. Like I can tell myself, I'm only gonna have one donut. Right? But you know, let's have one donut. I'm capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Dogs don't really regulate when it comes to behavior.
Yeah.
That's like they go to 1, 2, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So when you tap them with ECollar, the brain starts to get conditioned to anticipate that the tap is going to happen, and then it starts to regulate itself.
Yeah.
Because it's thinking, oh crap, I'm going to get tapped, right?
Yeah.
So I have a dog right now that's super reactive, and this is the owner's leg, and when he sees a dog, you'll see him like take his head and go like this, right?
That's what he's doing right now. So he's looking away.
Sure.
So there were a bunch of kids, like he probably, I've never had him with kids, but he'd probably be horrible. And that's what he's doing. He's literally looking away from anything.
Sure.
Like, that's what
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is okay for now.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like, you know, this is overwhelming for him.
Yeah.
But I'd rather him be like this than to be like edgy and anxious or like being reactive. Okay. Now as you expose him more, you know, your previous trainer said, you know, the dog laying down is showing relaxation. Is in this sense, the more you expose him, what you'll start seeing is he would be like this.
Yeah.
Now this isn't uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah.
And he's able to take in that contact.
Yeah.
Okay. So your homework for this week, this very simple exercise.
Yeah.
You can play with that number. See if you can trade that urgency. If he starts to become whiny, see if you can work him through it, and then see if what you get after. And if you're like, oh yeah, like you know, he was whiny, but I kept tapping, but eventually he just ran to me. And go, there we go. That's what you're looking to create.
And don't mark it with a word. Leave this
You can
without
say
words.
good, but don't make a big deal about it.
Okay.
Okay. Like a dog.
Oh no, that's not what I'm getting to. But if I say, like, if I use the H word, if I say heel, he's on my heel.
Oh yeah.
Second.
We're not saying heel right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's you can say break when his job is done, but no trigger word. Okay.
Yep.
Because I want to give you. So if you start walking and he doesn't move, boom.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to take every opportunity to give you use the remote to start layering this in.
Got it.
Okay. Expose it if you can to environments or to like you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Road spot, that's what you like. But yeah, if you can. Otherwise, you'll just as we go along catch on things. So the second class is going to be a second half deal, which will talk about the leg movements and everything. And then the third class will start delving into that touch sensitivity stuff. Right? Good job. Pretty good. And then we'll just kind of play everything by ear from there. Okay?
Nope. I'm just gonna not use my words, and I'm not gonna whip her with me. That's the real homework.
Yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.